Hey guys, happy Monday. Mr. Bergman here. I'm hoping you guys had a good weekend. It just started turning out to be really nice. I know last Wednesday was um, probably one of the best days we've had since last fall, last summer. So I'm hoping you guys are getting outside, enjoying that, having fun with your siblings, with your friends, whatever it might be. Keep that social distancing down. But it's starting to get very, very beautiful outside. So keep enjoying that. A couple things before we get started with our new unit today, which I'll talk about here in a little bit, is checking in with all of your teachers. I know I've gotten, me personally, and then Mrs. Corney and Mr. Hoganson have all received emails from teachers, from your music teachers, your band teachers, FIA teachers, making sure that you guys are checking in and are okay. So, a lot of you guys are doing that. For me, I know, and I'm not having too much of an issue, but please make sure that you continue checking in for every class and doing the assignments or the tasks that are at hand for those classes as well. The next thing, by now, guys, I think this is week 4 of distance learning. Um, but by now, I hope you guys kind of know like the structure of Mr. Bergman's Google Classroom. Usually, you guys are watching a video like you are right now, going over the things that we're doing, me teaching or me reviewing something, and then you guys are to practice some problems through Google Classrooms after that, which you'll do today too. And then we do Khan Academy. We watch some videos on there, do some practice problems, and that's kind of another day. And then just recently we introduced Kahoots, which I'm also going to talk about. But know that all of the Google Forms that I've been giving to you, you can go back and fix your problem. So if you get 10 out of 12 right and you want to get a perfect, go back and fix that. That's fine. Okay. But what I want you guys to understand is that I am receiving scores that are like 2 out of 15 or 2 out of 10 or 1 out of 9 I had just recently. And there's no reason for that. Okay. There's no reason to have scores that low at all, especially when you can go back. Now, the first time I understand you get some wrong, that's fine. But you guys are sixth graders, you're able to go back and fix those. So please make sure you're doing that if you're getting a score that's relatively low. Okay. The next thing I said I was going to talk about was Kahoots. I'm starting to do Kahoots a little bit more on Fridays. I like that competition. I'm having fun looking at who's doing what and who's doing, better than others. And I've gotten some emails from people saying, "Hey, I got this place. I'm right next to Emily, or I'm right next to Karsten, or whoever it might be." So I like to see that. It's fun for me. I actually found myself laughing the other day about the competitive spirit between some people. But I'm going to do those more like reviews. I might throw some fun questions in there, some different fun questions. So I'm hoping those are fun for you guys as well. So a little change up in what we've been doing. Our new unit today. Our new unit is going to be on perimeter, area, and surface area, and we're going to kind of break these down kind of into a weekly or daily basis. So we're not going to get too confused right away. But the first one that we're going to talk about is more of a review than anything, and it's not going to be too difficult. A really nice way to start the week, and that's perimeter here. Okay, so perimeter, I'm just going to review, nothing too crazy, but perimeter is the distance on the outside of a shape. Okay, the distance on the outside. Okay, and I'm going to move this computer closer so you can see my numbers a little bit better. Okay, so we have a rectangle here, and I have 3 feet, 3 feet, 6 feet, and 6 feet. Basically, all you do is add these up. 6 feet plus 6 feet is 12 feet, plus 3 is 15, plus 3 is 18 feet. So 18 feet is your perimeter. Okay. Now, note that in perimeter, we don't have any little number. Like in area, we usually put a squared or a 2. In volume, we put a 3. And volume is also part of this unit. I forgot to mention that. But in perimeter, we don't put anything up here. Okay. So keep that in mind. It's just 18 feet. That's it. Now, if we look at this triangle over here, notice how all the sides are the same. So in this one, 8, 8, and 8, you would get 24 centimeters here. Okay, 24 centimeters. Now another problem would be this, and you're going to see this a lot, and it's just kind of a problem solving. But this is a square, and let's say you got 4 inches in this one, and that's the only number they gave you. Problem solving wise, you know a square is all equal sides. All equal sides here. So you would have 16 inches. I'm hoping I'm going kind of fast. This is review. I think you guys. I look back at the standards, and you guys have been doing this since third grade, second grade. So nothing too crazy. The reason I want to go through this more is because we're going to get into some more hefty perimeter problems coming up here soon. But it's nice to review kind of what perimeter is and to go through that. But irregular shapes, you're going to be seeing stuff like this, where it's 4 centimeters. 4 centimeters. You will have 10 centimeters. 3, 2, 2. We'll do 3 centimeters here. 3 centimeters. We'll do 4, 4, 4, and 4. Okay. Now I'm not going to get too crazy with this, but this is something that you're going to have to go through and add. Now, the reason I'm putting this up here is not because I'm doubting that you guys can add. It's just a nice review. Like, oh yeah, I'm supposed to go around and go add up all of these numbers here. Now I know I'm looking at my computer screen and some of these numbers are kind of small, but what I do want to show you is some of these won't be listed sometimes. This 4 centimeters, this, and this are not always going to be listed. The same thing with this 2 centimeters. Let's see if we erase that. Okay. And the same thing with this 4 centimeters right here. Not always going to be listed. Okay. So there's some problem solving here stuff. I'm sorry, guys. There we go. I'm done. There's some problem solving done in here to find the perimeter. Okay. So on the practice today, you're not going to necessarily have a question like this. There's going to be a challenge question there. I try and throw one of those in there every once in a while. But there is 8 questions, including putting your first and last name. It just helps me organize. And it shouldn't take you very long. But please make sure you go through it carefully because if you miscount, it's going to be a wrong answer. So please make sure you go through those questions carefully. The plan for this week is you're starting perimeter today. We're going to practice that tomorrow for Khan Academy. We're going to practice more perimeter, some grids on there like you've seen on your Google Forms that you're doing today. And then Wednesday, we're going to hopefully introduce area into this. And again, area is a nice review, but we're building off of that review into something a little bit more complicated. And that kind of turns into Thursday as well. And then Friday, I'm hoping to have a Kahoot competition ready for you again. All right. Thank you guys. Have a happy Monday and a good rest of your week. Thank you. Hey guys, Mr. Bergman here. This is Wednesday, the 29th. And what we're going to do today is we're going to talk about area. Now, some of this is going to be a little bit of a review, which is good for us always. And then some of it is going to be a new concept. And like I always say at the beginning of the unit, we always build off of things that we know already and get to stuff that is unfamiliar with us. So we're going to start with area here, and we're going to start with the rectangle and square. Now, the area equation for rectangles and squares is just base times height. I know it's kind of hard to see on your screen, but it's base times height here. I have 2 examples right here. I have a square and I have a rectangle. Okay. Now in the square, it's really just this is the base right here, and this is your height. Okay. Base times height. 2 times 2 is 4, and then you label with your inches right here. And if you look back at the perimeter video that I talked about on Monday, we didn't label it with a squared or a cubed or anything like that. But what we're going to do today for area is we put a squared there. Okay. Now moving on to the rectangle, we have our base and we have our height. Okay. And so we have 5 times 7, which is 35. And label it with inches again. And one last time, we label area with a squared there. Okay. So moving forward here, I'm going to go through a triangle and a trapezoid. Now, a triangle, you're going to see these on Khan Academy. You're going to see these on your Google form. But on your triangle here, let's just label, let's say 4 inches and 5 inches your base. So 4 inches is your height right here. and 5 inches is your base. Now, the equation for a triangle, and you can maybe kind of see it up there with the glare, but it's a half times base times height. Now, we'll worry about the half here in a second, but base times height would be your first step initially. So 5 times 4. 5 times 4, we know that is 20. Make sure you can see that. We know that is 20 inches. And then that's where the half comes into play, okay? You can think of it as you can split this in half, you can divide by 2, whatever it might be, but that's what that is. And I'll explain why here in a second. But a half or divided by 2 would be 10 inches squared. And that would be your area for this rectangle. Now, this goes back to like 4th grade or 5th grade math, but looking at this triangle, a triangle is a half, essentially a half of a rectangle. So if you were to take this and copy that and put it there, it would be essentially a rectangle. So really, if you find the area of a rectangle, 4 times 5 is 20, and half of that, right here, this triangle, that would be 10 inches, okay? So just a nice quick reminder for triangles. The last thing I have for you is a trapezoid. Okay? Now, a trapezoid, give me 1 second here. It's a little different. Just a little bit different thinking, I should say. Maybe not too much different. Okay. So we have our base, we have our height, and we have an extra number here. Now, this is where the different thinking and applying comes into play. Trapezoid, you might see some different shapes in there. Now, you can kind of play with the shapes and geometry, how it seems fit. But on this one, what I see is I see a rectangle, I see 2 triangles. Okay? So a rectangle and 2 triangles. So the reason I did this is because there's no exact formula for area for just the whole trapezoid, if you will. Okay? So the way we do this is we break it up into shapes that we know the formula for already. Henceforth, now we know that this 6 covers this whole span. This 2 covers this, which is our rectangle. So we take a look at 2, which is the base, and 3, which is the height, and we get 6. 6, we'll call this inches squared. Okay? And now we're going to find the triangles. Now, assuming this 2 inches covers this, and these are split evenly is what we're going to go by. This is a 2 inches right here. And this is also a 2 inches. Okay? And looking back at our triangle area formula, we have half times base times height, which we just did on the last one. So we have 2 times 3 is 6, divided by 2 is 6 inches squared. I'm sorry, 3 inches squared. My apologies. And then the exact same thing over here. We have 2 times the height, which is 3, which should give us 6, divided by 2 is going to give us 3 inches squared. Now, we're not done. We found the area for each section. The last part, as you probably have guessed, is you can add them. 6 plus 3 is 9. We have 12 inches squared. And that would be your area for a trapezoid. All right, good luck on the Google Forms in Khan Academy. Khan Academy, there is, I think there's 3 assignments, so nothing too crazy. Actually, there's 4 assignments. My apologies. But you guys got this, all right? If you have any questions, you know who to ask. See ya.